Hey everyone, so I wanted to discuss with you this summer's blockbusters coming up and our later films that are pretty much all sequels to original franchises, whether it's Ghostbusters, Candyman, The Purge, Top Gun, Minions, Fast 9. That's just a handful off the top of my head, and we've got more coming later this year in 2021. Such as Scream 5, The Wrong Turn reboot. Only a small percentage of all these movies are something original. So that's why I want to discuss it with you, because it's catching on a lot more than usual. So, for starters, if you know my taste in movies, I'm never a big fan of sequels, mainly because of the fact that usually they have a new director on board, or they'll cast new actors, uh, taken over for someone else, which I can't stand unless they have a minor role or something, or if they're just as talented. Like for example, Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs was replaced by Julianne Moore due to Jodie Foster not liking the script. Personally, the tone will be completely different sometimes, or the story will just derail completely, and yeah, then you have a jumbled up mess that makes no sense. That's not every sequel. There are some sequels out there that do have a lot to offer, and that's my question is, what does the sequel offer? What can it bring that's new to the table, making it fresh, and continuing the story in an honoring way of the first? And some of the one-off films that stand alone, such as that could very well be their own film itself, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Scream. So many, especially in the horror genre, the need for more, because, who doesn't want more of what they've grown to love? Again, does it have anything new to offer? It can be a great film and have a horrible franchise, and is pretty common, and also mostly in horror, some in action. You know, the sequels are actually whether really good. But after it being several decades, like 30, 40 years, um, you know, the older audiences can forget that material or remember because it's not as popular title or it's been so long or dementia or whatever. Um, but you gotta consider the audience of the past and of today, giving both crowd members what they want, old and new, and that's not always easy. And I think that's the struggle they have, is balancing that fact. If it's an original that per se came out in the 70s that didn't do well critically, those are the ones I can see deserving of a second chance, or you know maybe try again and hopefully it'll do better, or retell it in a way that's totally completely original and not copying it scene for scene, because really what's the point in that anyway? And I do respect that also. Very few remakes out there that are considered classics, and there's very original classics that are in need of a remake. But they do it anyway for money, and um, it makes the world go round. And sometimes it is nice to see, for example, someone born before that time. Maybe they overlooked it or didn't see it. With DVDs, it's not as common that you'll just see an old classic copy of a DVD in a library or something like I did. Like I saw my VHSs in a library or a video store down the road called Showtime. With DVDs and Blu-rays and all this and streaming, not everyone's gonna get that lucky seeing that movie, because you're still limited, even though you're given, other options like newer stuff, but you're not always given the classics. And I think the remake is a good way of bringing the past back, but you also gotta be careful because mess it up more than you intended. A few remakes that really have surpassed um, its time and still is equally as amazing today as it was back then is John Carpenter's The Thing, 2003's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, And most recently, The Invisible Man was really good, but Lee Winnell, which again was a completely different story from the original. It changed everything, flipped it on its head, and that's one reason I also think it did so well. And also having a great director and cast. Um, but sometimes remakes are for the greater good. There are some sequels that I may like that a lot of people don't. I like the Ghostbusters 2 a lot, and I thought it was fun, and it doesn't have to be as good as the original, always, if you have a good time. And, I'm not saying it has to be flawless, because not, like, very rarely a movie is. Like, there's always someone that can find something wrong with it, and it's debatable. Everyone's a critic, everyone has their own opinions, and so this is mine. And I want to know yours, so comment down below and let me know. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.